Shauna with Just Try to Be Nice, and I don't know about you, well actually I do know about you because today in all 50 states it's really, really cold. Although you could be watching me from Europe or, I don't know, Australia or whatever, probably not. But anyway, I don't know about you, but it is really, really, really cold here. It is like 22 degrees outside, which in North Carolina, that's really cold. I mean, I listen to Coast to Coast every night, and it's out of a place called St. Catharines, Canada. And they're like, tomorrow will be a high of -6. I'm like, wow, that's cold. But this is about as cold as it gets here. So when it gets cold out, I like to make soup. And so I normally make a sausage and potato and kale soup that's similar to Zuppa Toscana from Olive Garden. But my kids did not want that. My kids wanted a nice, warm, baked potato soup. So that's what I'm making. So this is a video on how to make loaded baked potato soup. It's really easy. It's not that expensive. And I mean, there's a lot of prep work. But once it's done, it's done. You leave it alone. And it's really warm and hearty and filling. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this is my receipt. I went this morning to Harris Teeter and I bought all the stuff that I would need, and it really wasn't that expensive. For about $10 you can make this whole thing of soup and feed your whole family. So I've broken it down here. I had a bag of potatoes that was $2.99, and it takes 3 pounds, so that's about 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, which is about half of the bag. So I equaled that to $1.99, which rounds up to 2. A bag of onions for $1.97. I used 1 onion, but you could use 2, which is about 75 cents. So now you're at $2.75. And then a thing of green onions, these are the green onions. They're different than a white onion or a yellow onion. And when you do green onions, you don't use the actual onion part. I know, it's kind of counterintuitive. But you throw that away. Sorry I'm so popular on Facebook today. You just throw that away. You chop these up really fine, and then you're left with these. Now you can replant these, which is why I'm saving them. You can replant them, and they will grow. So then you've got the green onions, which cost 79 cents for a bushel of them. There's like 7 of them in there. The cheese, which was $4.49. I got Cracker Barrel cheese because it was on sale. And like, why not buy the best cheese you can if it's on sale? And then sour cream, which is $1.77. But I'm not going to use the whole thing of sour cream. I'm only going to probably use a third of it. So that equals out to about 70 cents. And then a half a gallon of milk, which is $2.59. But again, I'm only going to use, and I only bought a half a gallon of milk. I already had a full gallon of milk, but I didn't want it because I have to use 4 cups, which will bring my full gallon down to about a half gallon. And I use a lot of milk in my morning tea and throughout the day, and my kids like a lot of cereal. So I only bought that because I was going to use most of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even bought it because I already have that. And then the most expensive thing, other than the cheese, was the bacon, which was $2.97 on sale. So you do the math on that, but this whole dinner costs like less than $10. So now here's what I've got. I've got it all prepped, and I'm going to show you how to make it. But this is video 1. This will probably be a 2 or 3 part video because there is kind of a process to this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to cook your bacon. And I've just got my bacon in the pan, just kind of spread out and going, on low heat. And I'm just going to kind of, when this gets done, I'm going to flip it over and just kind of cook it. It doesn't have to be, crazy cooked. You want it done, so you don't want it, you want crispy bacon, but you don't want to burn it. So you want to cook it just until it's done. And then when you're done with this, you want to get rid of some of your grease, but you want to save 2 to 3 tablespoons. So you want a considerable amount of grease in there, because what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is with that grease, when you get done with this bacon and the bacon's no longer in the pan, so then you're just at a pan, then what you're going to do is you're going to add the white onion, which I have 1 finely chopped, here, let me show you the pieces. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, see, 1 finely chopped onion. Just 1. It doesn't, you can add as much as you want, but I only put 1 in there. So you will add that to your bacon grease. You will add your green onions. Now these are finely chopped as well, and you save 1 onion off to the side for garnish on top of the soup. So you don't cut them all up, you save 1 off to the side. So the first thing you do is you add your white onion, you cook that up in the bacon grease. Then you add your green onion, you cook that up in the bacon grease. When the clear onion is translucent and the green onion is like really, really, really tiny, they wilt down like spinach. When it looks like that, Then you add your flour to it, and you make kind of a roux with it. Now, when you're making a roux, and I don't know if you know what a roux is, but a roux is just basically a sauce with grease and it's like a gravy. But it's more a sauce than a gravy. Gravy is a little thicker. So what you do is you put the flour into your pan with your grease, and you mix it up, but you don't, and you want to cook it just a little bit, because otherwise that flour will still taste raw and it won't taste good. But you don't want to burn it. So I'm definitely going to do a video and show you how to do all that. So then when you're done with that, then you add the mixture that you have. Your bacon's off to the side, get cooling down so you can chop it up. Then you add that off to the side. Now, while this is cooking, you want to take 5 or 6 russet brown potatoes. These are the best kind for making potato soup. And you want to just microwave these in the oven and bake them. I microwaved mine in the oven for 20 minutes, and I have 5 of them in here. They were individually wrapped in paper towel, wet paper towels, and I put olive oil all over it with a little salt and pepper. So all you want to do is bake these, and then once they're baked, you just kind of semi-mash them. You don't want to go crazy with it. You just kind of want to mash them up so that they're kind of a mashed potato consistency. And then when that's done, you add that to the cheese. Now I have my 8 ounces of shredded mild cheddar cheese. I didn't want sharp cheddar. My kids do not like cheddary, you know, they do not like sharp cheddar. So I got the mildest cheese, which is why I had to buy Cracker Barrel. And then I have some red potatoes here, just easy baked potatoes. Now, the reason why I have these is this is my choice to have these potatoes. You can do this without these, but these are going to be all mushy and kind of like it'll be like a mashed potato soup, but I want my soup to have big chunks of potato in it too. So I'm going to add the big chunks of potato as well. And then you will need 4 cups of milk. You will need 3/4 a cup of butter, which is 4 tablespoons of a stick of butter. And then you'll need some sour cream, and then you'll need some chicken stock. And that's when you actually are making the soup. But we're not there yet. We're right now at the prep part. And as you can see, I've done this. Now, I made it like a cooking show for you, but also these ingredients need to be added at certain times, and I don't want to be having bacon on the oven while I'm trying to chop onions and chop potatoes and grate cheese. Like, I don't want it, so I just did it all ahead of time. You can do it this way if you want, or you can do it as you go. It doesn't really matter. But so far, I have a pound of bacon in the pan frying on low heat, not going crazy frying, just frying it up real simple. I have, hold on, I had it written down. I think I have 3/4 a cup of butter, or if you have a stick of butter, it's 4 teaspoons. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3. And then 8 ounces of shredded cheese, 4 cups of whole milk, 4 cups of chicken broth, 1 large onion finely chopped, 1 package of bacon, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 a cup of flour. You can add garlic cloves if you want, but I'm omitting them. And you can also add 2 stalks of celery if you want, but I'm also omitting that. 3 to 5 pounds of potatoes, scrubbed, clean, baked skin on. So what I have is 1.5 pounds of these potatoes and 1.5 pounds of these potatoes, which equals 3 pounds. So then we have sour cream and green onions, and that's everything you'll need. So I'm going to go now. I'm going to finish this bacon. I'm going to show you how to make the roux, but I'm going to finish this bacon, and I'm going to get my chicken broth and all of my liquid measurements measured out so that I can get that done really quick and easy for you. And I have to go and start to clean my other bathroom, because while I'm shooting this video today, I'm also cleaning all my bathrooms. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you make the soup, because it is so yummy, yummy, yummy in your tummy. See you in a little bit. Bye. Ooh, doesn't that bacon look so good, yo? Again. Okay, so my bacon is cooked. My bacon is cooked, man! No, my bacon is cooked, and it's pretty crispy. It's, you know, it's not lightly, I mean, it's still got a little wiggle to it, but it's pretty crispy. I wanted it to be pretty crispy. So my bacon is cooked on a pan, sitting over here cooling down, because I can't cut it until it cools down. And then I've got my diced onion and my green onion in the pan with the bacon grease. I poured out some of the bacon grease, and I left about 2 to 3 tablespoons in. And now I am sauteing this up until these onions turn white and until the green onions shrivel up. So that is where we're at. Just doing a quick little let you know. So I'm gonna cook. This is gonna take a few more minutes, and I don't know if you can see, but see that yummy goodness on all these onions? You see the black stuff on the onions? That's the bacon. Like, that's that bacon flavor. You don't want to lose that bacon flavor. You want that flavor in your soup. Other than just the bacon, you want it in your soup. So this just adds another dimension of flavor to the yumminess of the soup. So now I'm just going to let this cook for a few more minutes, and then when this is done, I'm going to let this cool. I'm going to put these off to the side in this bowl right here, and then I'm going to make my roux, which is going to be the butter and the flour and the cheese. That's how you get the cheese into the soup. So there we go. That's where we're at, and we'll come right back in just a minute, and yummy, yummy. Bye-bye. Just try to be nice. Okay, back with potato soup. So now my onions and my bacon grease are sauteed. They've been sauteed, and I added some seasonings to this. I added some Goya adobo without pepper, because I hate pepper. If you like pepper, put it in there. And I didn't have any actual garlic, but it did call for garlic, so I just used one of these Knorr, like, bouillon cubes. It's kind of like chicken stock or beef stock cubes, but instead there's garlic, and then there's an onion, and then there's a cilantro one, and I love them. I use them a lot. So I put that in there. I put that in there, and I put just a tiny, tiny, tiny touch of ginger because my family's been sick, and ginger doesn't hurt, and it just gives the soup a little bing that is unexpected for your palate. So now I have my pot. This is the pot I'm actually going to cook this soup in. So I have my pot, if it's big enough anyway. So I have my pot, and I have 4 cups, or I have 1 container, which I believe is 4 cups of chicken broth. It says 32 ounces, which I believe is 4 cups, but I just put 1 whole thing of chicken broth in there. So now we have 1 thing of chicken broth, and it's been warming, not a whole lot. And we're gonna add this to this. We're gonna just slide it right on in there, and you can use the broth to get all the stuff out. So you can make sure you get it all out. There you go. Ooh, that one last onion just doesn't want to go, does he? Alright, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not mad at him. He's like, I'm happy. I don't want to leave, yo. Okay, so then that gets set aside. And so now you've got your onions and your scallion, or your green onions and your white onions and all your yummy bacon goodness in there. And there is a little bit of grease, and that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. I got rid of most of the grease. It's only about 2 tablespoons. So now what we're going to do is, and this is on a low heat. This is on a 4. It's a medium heat, not a low, but it's on a 4. So now we are going to add 3 cups of milk. Now this recipe calls for 4, but 1 cup goes into your roux, which is separate. So 3 cups. So I've got 4 cups of milk in my container here. And I've got 2 cups right there, and then there's still 2 cups in here. So what you want to do is slowly add this milk to this mixture. There's 2. Want to stir, and you don't want to turn it too hot, because if you keep it too hot, your milk will scald, and it'll like curdle, and it will go really, really, really south really, really, really fast. And so now I need 1 more cup of milk here. So I'm going to go to the 1 cup line. Sorry about that, I got a phone call. So I'm going to go to the 1 cup line, just like that. Alright, and then that leaves 1 cup still in there, and that's for my roux. So now I take my other 1 cup over here, and just like that. Now I keep this on low. I'm done with you, so I'm going to put him over. I'm done with you! So I'm going to put him over there. Now I'm just going to stir gently. Okay, stir gently. Now, while I'm doing this here, I'm going to make my roux here. Now, I've already got him on a 4, which is exactly where I want him, and I'm going to put the butter in first. Roux is basically butter and flour with seasoning and a little milk, which this is what makes your soup nice and thick. But you can't just put flour in your soup or it would taste bad. You have to cook the flour, which I know, you're like, what? You have to cook the flour? What? But if you've ever had soup where they didn't cook the flour, you can taste it, and it's not a good flavor. So what we're going to do is we're going to melt our butter just real quick. See, we're melting our butter. We're melting our butter. All right, so we're going to melt our butter. We're going to add our flour. You want to mix this up good. All right, get it good and mixed. So the butter's incorporated into the flour. And now you want to add that last 1 cup of milk. And the trick to the roux is no lumps. So when you find a lump, you just want to kind of take your spoon and kind of squish it until it's not lumpy. You do not want a lumpy roux. It's the worst. It'll make your soup taste bad. You'll be eating your soup and there'll be big giant clumps of flour in there, and it's just not a good flavor. So you can use your spoon like this, or lots of people like to whisk. Lots of people like to use a whisk. Yeah, I'm kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other on that one. I don't think there's a good method or a bad method. I mean, one will work, the other will work too. You just want to make sure you get your flour good and mixed into your mixture. It's kind of like a gravy, like I said before, but not. It's not a gravy. It's a roux. It's like a sauce. You can see my flour is not incorporating with my milk well. So I'm getting there. Getting there, but I think I might need just, no, maybe not, maybe that's good. I think I need just a tiny bit more of milk, but the recipe only called for that, so I think I'm good. You just kind of want to cook your flour a little bit. You don't want to cook it too long, because like I said, it'll overcook. So, there you go. Now that you have this, now when you get this, you want to add your potatoes. So I've got my potatoes here, and I'm just gonna kind of mash them just a tiny bit more, not a lot. I don't want to pulverize them. I don't want them to burn either in a big chunk. So now that my half of my potatoes are mushed, I'm gonna put those in there. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I only have one hand since I'm using you with the other hand. So, there we go. Now, we're gonna, okay. Now I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna mix this. I'm gonna have to set you down, unfortunately, and I'm really sorry for that, but I can't hold you and do this at the same time. So, you are just gonna have to stay there. Now, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna fold it over, and incorporate it into the potatoes. Just like this. Now, while I'm doing that, I'm also going to take this opportunity to get the rest of these potatoes in a chopped fine manner that they will not be giant big pieces for my soup. Fold over, fold my roux mixture into my potatoes. So you kind of want to have mashed potatoes where the roux mixture is the milk and the sour cream. And some of these potatoes aren't completely done, and that's okay. They don't need to be. They're going to be in a pot cooking, so. Alright, so I'm almost done. Got my roux mixture good and incorporated into my potatoes. And now I'm going to slowly add my potatoes to my pan, to my bowl with my milk and my chicken broth mixture. I'm going to slowly do that. So I'm going to just take 1 scoop at a time, and very slowly I'm going to incorporate it into my soup. If you dump it all in there at once, A, it'll overflow, and B, you won't have a good chance to. You want it to be a good creamy consistency. You want it to stay nice, and you don't want like a big lump of stuff in the middle and then liquid all around it. So you want to do it real slow, so you're incorporating your potatoes into your soup, just like this. I'm doing a good job so far. Now, one of the things you want to watch for is right here. So See, this little guy, he just went in there, and he's okay, but that is a big old chunk of skin, and somebody is going to get that big old chunk of skin and not want that big of a chunk of skin. That's a lot of skin. So you want to kind of make sure that when you're breaking your potatoes up and you're mixing it up, that you make sure to break up the pieces of skin. You don't really want a piece of skin any larger than that. So we're getting there. Like I said, I'm just using the spoon to kind of mix it all together. I'm kind of looking for large, see there's another large chunk of skin, so I'm going to pull him back out. I'm going to kind of break him apart a little better so we don't have large pieces of skin. And if you want to, you can actually peel the potatoes and take the skins off, but that's kind of ridiculous and pointless. I mean, if you like the way that it tastes, do it, but all the good parts of the potato are in the skin. And the reason why I'm making this soup is because it's cold outside. I don't want my kids to get sick. So any little bit of extra goodness that I can give them with these potato skins, I'm going to give them. I'm not going to rob them of the nutrients of the potatoes. And also, if you feed your kids potato skins now, then when they get to be my age, they don't say, oh, I don't like potato skins, because they're grown up with them and they're used to them. So there we go. Like, just real slowly, you just want to slowly incorporate your potato mixture into your potato and roux mixture into your soup. Just real slow. It doesn't. You don't have to be quick. This is not a rushed process. I've already been cooking for almost an hour now, so this is something that, you know, takes a little time to put together, but once it's done, it's worth it. Alright, so I'm still gonna just kind of slowly incorporate my potato roux mixture into my soup. Just very, very, very slowly. Like I said, if you do it too quickly, you'll overwhelm the soup, and you'll end up with a big wad of stuff in the middle of your soup, and then nothing. Like, all the liquid will be on the outside, and the big wad thing will be on the middle. In the middle, it won't cook well. It won't taste right. See, like, here's what I'm talking about. See, like, you've got this big wad here. Now, if I didn't find that, then that flour and that potato mixture would cook by itself, and it would become more of a gnocchi, like a giant gnocchi, as opposed to potato soup. So I don't want gnocchi soup. I want potato soup. So that's the purpose of doing it slowly. Alright. Almost getting there. We're getting there with this. Soup looks so good. I wish you could see it from where you are. I know you can't. I'm sorry. I only have 2 hands. Hopefully, I'm asking my in-laws for a GoPro for Christmas, and hopefully I'll get one, and that will make all of my videos much, much easier to shoot. So now, here we go. Alright, so all of my potato mixture is now mixed into my water, which is my water, my chicken broth and my soup mixture. It's all mixed in, and I'm using two different spoons, and I'm crisscrossing them, and I'm just making sure that there are no big chunks of soup and potato and flour, which there's not, but I'm also going to, so I'm going to keep the spoon, but this and this I'm done with, so now these go into the, okay, so I just put that into the sink, and now my potato soup is looking nice and creamy. Let me show you. Oh my gosh, it looks so yummy already. Alright, and you could eat it now if you want to. I mean, there's no cheese in it, but it's just potato soup. And you see the consistency. So my flour's mixed in there good, and it's nice and thick. The flour did exactly what it was supposed to do, which was to thicken it up. So you just want to make sure you've incorporated it all really well, which I did. And now I'm going to add my cheese. And now you just add your cheese. It's pretty simple. You just just add your cheese, and it's going to melt in there all on its own. You don't even have to help it melt. It just does its own thing. It melts into the cheese. I mean, it melts into the soup just like this. Dun 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 down. Down 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 down. See, there we go. So now my cheese is in there, and I'm just going to kind of stir that up and help the cheese get incorporated into it. And then I'm going to, And see, the cheese is already pretty much melted into it. There's a little piece right there that's still in the process of melting, but for the most part, that cheese melted real quick. So now that the cheese is in there, now the next thing is to add the bacon. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to chop this bacon up pretty finely, and then I'm just going to add it to the pan. And that's it. That's how you make the soup. Oh, and when it's all said and done, I'm going to move it, I'm going to put these in there and put a lid on it and have it low and slow from on a heat of 2, and I'll cook it for about 3 more hours, which isn't really cooked. This is cooked. You could eat it now. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. I keep getting all these phone calls. So now my bacon is done. It's dry, and I've chopped it up really, really fine. I just used my hand to squeeze it. I saved a couple pieces over there for garnish. So now we're going to take this, and we're just going to pour it right into our soup, just like that. And like I said, normally I would have 2 hands, but instead now I only have 1. So I have to improvise here with my one-handedness. And you just want to get as much of that bacon into that soup as you can. You don't want to leave any behind in the bowl, and you definitely don't want to leave any behind in your hand. So, hold on just one second. Alright, all done. So now, this bowl I'm going to give to my dog, because I love my dog, and he loves bacon. And then now I'm going to just incorporate the bacon into the soup. And there you go. Just like that. That is how you make baked potato soup. Now, I can't decide if I'm going to leave it like this, because this looks really good just the way that it is. I mean, I know I like the chunks and all, but this looks really good just the way that it is. So I may just put these off into the bowl and save these for home fries or something later. So there you go. That's how to do it. And now when you serve it, you add a little bit of dollop of, sour cream. You add a couple of those chopped green onions, a little sprinkle of the potato, and some shredded cheese on top, and you're done. So that is how to make yummy loaded baked potato soup. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you make it. Please tell me in the comments if you do. I'll talk to you later.